Chapter 45. If he wasn't good at this kind of love, then he would just follow his heart. Harrison looked down at Serafina in his arms. Her cheeks were as red as cherry tomatoes. He really wanted to take a bite. Her lips were as soft as cherries. He wanted to take another bite. He frowned. No, he couldn't do that. He was a person with self-control. He had to calm down. After a moment of calm, he thought to himself, a touch probably wouldn't hurt. He couldn't help but gently pinch her cheeks. They were both soft and smooth. He lowered his head again, gently rubbing his cheeks against her soft, rosy face. His heart couldn't help but tremble. He only needed to lower his eyes slightly to see her lips very close to his. He couldn't hold back the agitation in his heart. He lowered his head further, gently touching her lips a few times. Serafina in her dream seemed to feel something unusual. She furrowed her eyebrows as if protesting, then turned her head and snuggled into his neck. He wasn't discouraged at all. Seeing her wriggling around like a koala bear was really adorable, and he continuously kissed her rosy cheeks a few more times. This kind of temptation was really. He kept frowning and relaxing his eyebrows. One day, he would definitely eat her. When the car reached the Beaumont family's door, she finally woke up. After getting out of the car, she stretched her back and shoulders in satisfaction. Her spirit was very high. He held her hand and stroked her cheek, instructing each sentence. We have to leave the day after tomorrow. Start packing your things. Remember to rest. She obediently nodded like a chicken pecking rice, waved at him, turned around and was about to leave very freely. But before she could turn around, he grabbed her hand and pulled her back. She threw herself into his chest, surprised. Huh? Is there anything else? His eyes sparkled. I think you forgot something, right? She was momentarily stunned, and after understanding, she glared at him in dissatisfaction. Other people saw it. No one is standing at your door. He was very stubborn. There is a camera at the door. She was very miserable. We are standing on the other side of the road. The camera's blind spot, they can't see. He was very persistent. She knew she couldn't shake him, so she carefully looked around. The main road in the mountains was full of dense trees, not a single person in front or behind. She grabbed his neck, tiptoed, raised her head and lightly touched his lips, and was about to lower her center of gravity when he hugged her waist, tightened his arms, and blatantly kissed her deeply. She suddenly felt excited and overwhelmed. Her mind was in turmoil, so this was the difference between having feelings and not having feelings. In her previous life, she had also had a boyfriend. At that time, she thought she was a heartless person, would not love anyone, so she just needed to find a good man who could understand each other, be friends with each other, and be calm for the rest of her life. She had intended to marry him, but never had any feelings of love. Later, he also fell in love with Lily, although she was so angry that she thought she would go crazy, but she also understood clearly, what she hated was being robbed, not being abandoned. She still thought that she had no heart, so she wouldn't be moved, wouldn't like anyone, wouldn't love anyone. But for some reason, when she was with Harrison, she felt like a young girl experiencing the emotions of her first love. This unprecedented feeling of safety and comfort made her feel endlessly happy. She was hugged by him for a long time before returning to the house. As soon as she entered the house, she heard Vivian's voice in the living room. "Grandma, I guess that William's mother wants me and Lily to fight each other, and she is the fisherman who takes the opportunity to steal the Ashford group. Now I want to cooperate with the Kensington family to defeat Lily, but at the same time I have to be stronger so that I won't be destroyed by them. After using them, I will abandon them. That will satisfy my anger." Vivian also had this intention? As expected of Jane Beaumont's daughter. Serafina slowly changed her shoes. After a while she deliberately walked with a strong step, saying, "I'm back." Grandma looked over, her originally frowning face showing a gentle expression, slowly saying, "I heard from Theodore that you've been busy at school recently. I haven't seen you for 2 weeks. Your mother misses you too." She nodded, then glanced at Vivian who had a cold expression and was lowering her eyes. She said to Grandma, "I'll go pack a few things first. I'll come down and have dinner with you later." If Grandma and Vivian were talking, she didn't need to stand by and listen. But Grandma called out to her, "Serafina, come in here, sit next to Grandma." She obediently sat down, only to see Vivian's expression darken, seemingly a little uncomfortable. "Vivian, continue." Vivian looked at Serafina, her lips twitching, as if she was somewhat embarrassed. Grandma saw what she was thinking, and said, "If you have anything to say, continue. You want Grandma to help you, but the entire Smith group and the Beaumont family will belong to Serafina and Theodore in the future. Of course she has to sit here and listen." Vivian hesitated for a moment, and finally opened her mouth, but this time it was a pleading tone, and the content also changed. "Grandma, please help me. The Ashford group is what it is today thanks to my mother and the Beaumont family. We can't let Megan and Lily get rich like this. Grandma, I really don't want to see the group that my mother worked so hard to build being taken away by that Megan. Also, my father is too much. He betrayed my mother, and hurt me. Grandma, I'm not telling you this because I'm angry. Megan and Lily are really not good people." "Don't I know that they're not good people?" Grandma's face hardened. More than half a year ago, Megan ran to the Beaumont house crying loudly, saying that she had mistakenly picked up the wrong daughter, asking Olivia and Theodore to forgive her, but Grandma became suspicious. A few years ago, Megan had been in contact with Olivia. But up until then, Olivia still didn't know that Megan was pregnant. At that time, Megan often went to the Beaumont house to visit her best friend's good daughter, not mentioning that she also had a daughter, as if she was deliberately hiding the existence of Serafina. Then, Olivia accidentally heard that Megan had a child from another family, and asked her to bring the child to her house to play. But at that time, Megan said she wanted to go to the south to develop, and then move to Dalian. Thinking back many years later, Grandma thought that Megan deliberately wanted to sever the relationship between Serafina and the Beaumont family. Thinking back to Megan's caring attitude every time she visited Lily, and remembering how Serafina was so scared when she first arrived that she didn't dare to meet anyone, Grandma hated Megan even more. That's why she resolutely chased Lily away and brought the real Serafina home. Thinking of this, Grandma closed her eyes and sighed. Perhaps your father knew from the beginning that the fake Serafina was actually his and Megan's daughter. Otherwise, what father would treat his wife's niece better than his own daughter? Vivian was suddenly stunned, her hands clenched until they were pale. No wonder Lily had been treated so well by her father since she was young. No matter what he bought, he had to buy a portion for Lily. At that time, Vivian only thought that her father was treating her uncle's daughter well, but she didn't expect. Vivian closed her eyes, the hatred in her heart rising like a tidal wave. Serafina glanced at her indifferently, seeing her face turn pale with anger. Thinking seriously, she was just like her, pitiful and sad enough. She couldn't help but feel sad for her. Vivian's nature wasn't bad. What sin did she commit? She hesitated for a few minutes, and finally said, "There's something I want to say. I suspect that Auntie's car accident wasn't an accident." Before she could finish speaking, both Grandma and Vivian looked over in surprise. She calmly explained, "Recently, Megan and Lily have been making such a fuss. Perhaps Winston is also angry at home, but he has never shown any signs outside, which is very strange. Moreover, today at school, I accidentally heard Megan calling him, disdainfully saying that if the Ashford family wants to kick her out, she will also give him no way out." She frowned. What ability does she have to make him have no way out? Megan and Winston must have joined hands to do something that no one else knows about, or Megan knows some dark secret of his. No matter what the possibility is, I think the most likely possibility is that it has something to do with Auntie's car accident. Vivian suddenly realized, no wonder Dad often quarrels with Megan at home, but he has ignored the recent matters. Could it be that Dad really harmed Mom? Vivian propped her hands on her knees, tears of pain and resentment welled up in her eyes, but she still tried not to let them fall. Serafina was silent. Was this the Vivian who would shed tears whenever she was emotional? This time, she was very strong and enduring without shedding tears, but perhaps she also knew that she was powerless to do anything. Serafina added another sentence, "However, Harry. A friend of mine contacted an American neurologist. I didn't ask Grandma before I brought someone to visit my aunt by myself. At that time, it was just the initial diagnosis. I didn't want to let Grandma get hopes up and then be disappointed, so I hid it, but," she paused for a moment, now the results are out. She didn't fall into a deep sleep, she was actually just approaching a semi-vegetative state. Grandma's face showed a look of surprised joy, while Vivian's face showed hope. After all, this was the person she could rely on the most, so. What do you mean? If you say it, it must be good news, right? She nodded. The doctor said, when the preparations are done, they will do treatment for her. The hope of her waking up is very high. Vivian really cried this time. As soon as she mentioned her mother, all the grievances and sorrows that could not be explained welled up. She added another sentence, because Grandma had already done the divorce proceedings on her behalf with Winston, now she is in the Beaumont family's nursing home. In the near future, the Ashford family will not be able to visit her. This matter must be kept a secret, especially from Winston. Vivian's face suddenly became stiff, the thousands of emotions from earlier suddenly turned into coldness. I will definitely wait for Mother to wake up. If he really harmed Mother, I will not recognize this father. Serafina and her grandmother were both silent, not saying a word. After a long while, her grandmother indifferently said, "That year, your mother ignored my objections and insisted on marrying Winston. I had already severed our mother-daughter relationship. At that time, even though your grandfather had prepared a dowry for her, I also gave her 7% of the Smith Group's shares, as if to clarify our relationship. But she was also very stubborn. After the Ashford Group developed, she came to me to show off and return the 7% to me." Grandmother said this, then turned to look at Serafina. "What do you think?" She said, "If it was originally your aunt's, then you should give it to Vivian." It wasn't that she was being generous, but this was originally Jane's thing, and she realized what her grandmother meant, so it was inconvenient to say anything more. Moreover, thinking back, Jane and her father were as close as she and Theodore. She felt a little relieved. Grandmother nodded and said to Vivian, "You want me to help you, but I can't let Serafina, Theodore, and the Smith Group get caught up in your revenge. I can only transfer this 7% to you, as a partial support." Vivian quickly replied, "Thank you, Grandma, thank you, Grandma." When Vivian left, Serafina went to the door to see her off for a short distance. The two of them walked along the winding mountain road down, for a long, long time without saying a word. In the end, Vivian spoke first. "Thank you for speaking up for me in front of Grandma just now." Serafina kicked the small pebble on the side of the road, indifferently saying, "No need, Grandma already thought so. Moreover, when your mother wakes up, she will also transfer the other 7% to your mother." "Do you really believe that my mother can wake up?" Vivian's voice trembled slightly. Serafina looked at the asphalt road under her feet and asked back, "If not, then what? Do you hope your mother won't wake up?" Vivian was stunned for a long time, not saying a word. After a while she calmed down. "No matter what, this time I have to thank you for my mother. It's just because I don't want to see Megan live in peace either," Serafina said frankly. Then, Vivian heard that, hesitated for half a moment. I won't shake hands with you." Serafina turned to look at her, her eyes showing no emotion. "Short-term cooperation is fine, but long-term alliances are not." Facing her unscrupulous answer, Vivian was not surprised at all, but instead smiled bitterly. "What? You still don't believe me? That's right." Serafina was very straightforward, took a few more steps and turned to look at her, smiling strangely. "Moreover, don't you really not trust me?" Vivian's face stiffened again, her steps stopped, and she continued walking forward. "Not to mention, you said you wanted to shake hands with me entirely because I have value to you. Of course, people living together, to put it cruelly, are all about using and being used. However, some people are willing, but some are not. For example, I don't like being used by you." Today at school, Vivian spoke up for her backstage because she needed her to say a few words in front of her grandmother. Both of them had to carry a heavy burden on their backs. Vivian slightly curled her lips. "You say that, we really don't know where to put our relationship." Serafina looked like it didn't matter. "Since we don't trust each other, it's best to maintain the current situation, don't bother each other anymore. Sometimes we can shake hands for a while." Vivian gave a vague sound, raised her head to look at the sky, took a breath and sighed. "I hope everything passes quickly. People will have to grow up anyway, but life should still be as simple as before." Serafina listened quietly, not answering. After seeing Vivian off, when she got home, when she went upstairs and passed Theodore's door, she saw the handsome guy excitedly packing his things. She leaned against the door, tilted her head to look at him for a moment, then lightly tapped her finger on the door. He turned to see her, and immediately smiled. I was about to tell you, thanks to Mr. Harrison's recommendation, I'm going to Germany to attend a business management conference. Among the people attending this time, I'm the youngest, haha. She looked very surprised, and laughed at him. Do you understand? Don't let it get to that point and lose face both domestically and internationally. She thought he would argue with her next, but unexpectedly, he carried a suit, suddenly looked gloomy, sat down on the bed, and after a long while, he whispered, to be honest, I'm also very nervous. This time it was her turn to be shocked. Someone immune to pressure was also nervous? She quickly sat down next to him, comforting him. I was just joking just now. I just feel that, with Harrison's personality, if he felt that you couldn't do it, he definitely wouldn't give you this good opportunity, that's for sure. He suddenly chuckled. I think so too. He immediately regained his bright demeanor, as if he was very proud. If Mr. Harrison let me go, that means that in his eyes, I'm very good. Haha, Serafina, be proud of me. This arrogant and smug look was like a bushy-tailed wolf. It seemed like she was fooled. This brat was deliberately pretending to be uneasy, deceiving her into giving him encouragement, so infuriating. But thinking about how he would happily go abroad to study tomorrow, and be able to leave the poisonous flower lily, she was in a good mood, so she didn't bother to argue with him. But, a certain boy shamelessly added another sentence. Look, I'm making rapid progress every day, but what about you, standing still, stagnant and not moving forward? I've already left you 10 streets behind. Look, look. He imitated running. You can't even see my shadow anymore, because I have run far already. Because one kick from me sent you flying. Serafina was furious, raised her leg and kicked him. Before you go abroad, consider it a big gift for you. Avoid not seeing each other for a few days and your skin will itch. The next day, Theodore went to Germany. The day after that, Serafina went to Macau.